We would like to now hear some words from Michael's wife, Jimena.
Thank you all for showing up today. I've been reading these beautiful stories in Facebook where you all talk about Michael's mastery and talent and how he brought celebration into this world. Everybody talks about his humor and his kindness. What a blessing that he touched our lives. I just want to say to Michael, thank you. I forgive you. Please forgive me. I love you.
This is Michael's sister, Valerie. She received this.
I knew that Michael struggled from time to time. I never imagined that it would come to this. I wish, seeing all the outpouring of love from the whole community. I know he can feel it, but I wish he felt it here. And I forgive him, and I hope he forgives me.
This is now a time where we can release any grief or to also give gratitude for all that he's given. So if there's others that would like to speak, this is a time to do so that he can hear us because he is here with us. He is the one who orchestrated this. I went to my altar 2 days ago and said, okay, what are we going to do? And he said, gather the people so that they can release this grief and be able to celebrate me in another way. Family, he had been planning this a long time. He was tired, and he wanted to go home. So we asked for excuse me. This is the great Bill Summers. He and Michael have worked together. They cut their teeth. He cut his teeth on you or something.
I really want to say something. I rarely say shit. I'm pretty private and I'm a hermit in a way. I love people, but I don't like to come around them because of the negativity. Being black is African, but we're all Africans because we're part of the same. I don't know. You look like me in a way, but I knew Michael really well. I mean, we spent quality time together, and it's not a time to be sad. Michael would not want you to be frowning up and looking like, oh. I'm telling you, he wouldn't like that. You know, we should be celebrating the life of a great man. I'm black. I'm as black as you're gonna get. I'm telling you, I am a black man, and I love my people, and we've gotten a raw deal. But being intelligent is important, and understanding what this really is. All of this is God. That telephone pole is God. I mean, the sky is God. Everything is God. And Michael realized that. He played bata. I play bata. I'm Olu bata. I play for the Orisha. I play for the trees, for the ground, for the grass. Hey man, I love Michael Stephens. That's all I can say. He was a great guy.
Thank you, Michael.
Is there anyone else who wants to speak? Share?
So, my name is Gabo. I started with Michael from the Hector Gallardo, first days of Latin music in New Orleans. So it's a long trajectory. I had many years of playing with him in the past years with Moyuba and Sulam at Jazz Fest, and it was always a very special time. I always saw that very positive, happy Michael. That it just music just kind of tames the us artists, right? We have many levels. And I feel like that was always very present, Speaking to Bill's part on the bata drums, can be very tricky. And still till the last gig, I still messed up at it. Wow, and Michael's always so patient. It's like, once to the other side, but he would just smile and be like, we're just going to get through it. We'll find it eventually. And it always worked out, So I'm most grateful for his patience and grace.
I don't want Michael to be forgotten as a fifth grade teacher at Guthrie Day. I worked with Michael. I was in administration, and the children loved him. The staff loved him, and I would go substitute for him on a Friday afternoon so he could scoot off to go play at Jazz Fest. So I love Michael. Thank you.
Yeah, I just, Michael and I were kind of like, he was my brother from another mother. I knew Michael from the Smile and Myron days when we were, a bunch of us here. And I've lived out of New Orleans for a while, but Michael and I have always stayed in touch. We've always, we've always held that bond. And, in the early 2000s, Michael and I and a couple other drummers were in Cuba together for a couple months, just studying bata. That's where we ground our teeth there together. I did that with Michael, and that was a very powerful time for me. And he's always been a brother to me. And I know he was struggling, and I talked to him a couple weeks ago, and I've reached out, and I just. One thing I want all of us to take from this is just, let's reach out to each other and let's make sure, let's check in with each other. Let's make sure, because that we can change things. We can, we can bring that a different outcome if we reach out and we see someone struggling, and I think Michael, he was always so happy and go lucky and had a lot of, ways of disguising that, but I'm just saying that we as a community, I consider myself part of the New Orleans community. New Orleans, I'm born and raised here, even though I don't live here anymore. But it is, and Bill and I and Michael, we've all played together, and it's just, I just think, the power of our community and the power of friends and power of reaching out and making sure, checking in on our people, because it's so important, But I love Michael so much, and so, I had to be here for this, so I came in.
Yeah.
So who's got a funny story about him? Somebody got a funny story about him, right? Anybody? Somebody?
When I first got to New Orleans, I was playing with Michael Ray and the Cosmic Crew.
Yes.
And one of the things that we did was we were brought over to Germany to play in a multicultural festival, and Gloria, the manager, decided that we should do a tribute to Legba, which is fine, except I think Legba noticed. I think that he noticed because of Michael's playing, and things started to go wrong. Tim Green's saxophone rig was blown up, the drums were all wrong, Josh Paxton's keyboards blew up, everything was blown up, and Osetoa, who many of you know, finally told us we needed to go leave a candy bar at the crossroads for Legba, and then things straightened out. But I've always remembered that they thought that it was his drumming that awakened him to us.
Of course it was. Is there anyone else before we?
I just want to say that, for example, there's a lot of musicians talking about it, so they know the rhythm. I just want to talk about on the perspective of a dancer. So we who dance and don't play, we dance through his music throughout these years. So thank you.
We had a trio for a little while there with Brent Rose and myself and Michael. We always had a good time. Him and Brent would bicker a little bit like they were married. We had a good time. We played at Santa Fe every week for a good long time. And Michael would also play percussion for my wife Alini's dance class. And at some point he told her that we were having a bromance. Alini's from Brazil, so I think that there was like a moment where I had to explain what exactly a bromance is. This was a good, had a good laugh at that. We had a lot of fun talking about Brazilian music and pandeiro and playing those gigs over the years.
I don't have a funny story, but it's Mike. I met Mike through Baba Bill Summers, who spoke earlier. This was back in, I forget exact years, but like the late 90s. And we all started playing bata under Bill's tutelage, and me, Mashona, Kito, Rashidi. I mean, you know, Sean, Marcus, Mike. I mean, there's a whole crew of us in Bill. And I posted some pictures of us performing in Congo Square in like, I want to say it was 96, but I'm not sure. But I mean, and I have one picture of Michael himself holding up a bottle of water, just, you know, doing the jokes, the tricks, the stuff. And yeah, that's my brother. I mean, you know, learning under Bill, you know, we messed up, you know. This was the days of corporal discipline. He'll slap our hands.
And fines.
He'll slap our hands, but we all made jokes in front of it, and it's a great thing, you know. And I just had to come in and just salute my brother, and you know, my brother in Bata, and yeah, he was a great man.
Yeah.
Yes.
He was a good friend.
Good soul. Good soul.
He's a good soul.
Back in the early 2000s, Michael hired me to play drums with a Cuban guitarist who was coming in town for Jazz Fest. And, you know, I was studying Cuban music and learning about it, and I could play all the rhythms, but I didn't really know all the little details of, like, when you're supposed to play the cowbell and when you're supposed to play the cascara. So this Cuban guitarist comes to town, and we have a little rehearsal. And he turns around to me during the rehearsal and he says, you know, you sound great, everything feels good, but you gotta, you know, when I sing blah, 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 you play the cowbell, and when I sing blah, 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 you do the cascada. And of course, all the lyrics were in Spanish. So I'm like, I don't know what you're saying. So I turned to Michael and I said, bruh, you got to get me through this, because I have no idea. So through the whole gig on stage at Jazz Fest, Michael's listening to the Spanish lyrics and cueing me like, bell, cascara. And that's the only way I got through the gig, because he was yelling at me when to play what. Yeah, we go back all the way to the 90s, and we had many, many great conversations about Cuban music and Brazilian music, and we've just been friends forever. And a couple of years ago, when I was looking for a djembe to buy, he's the first person I called. I said, teach me about djembes. And we had a long conversation, and I got this drum because of him. So, I'm going to miss him.
I just want to say something. I know him about 15 years. Me and him worked together at Veteran Palm Country Day School, and he taught me about the djembe and all this kind of stuff. And he said, man, you started beating him, and you got a different style. I said, yeah, I got a different style. He said, I got this style. So he was playing, you know, Latin music and all that kind of. So I started playing the Indian stuff. He said, man, that's a good thing. I didn't know you played. I said, yeah, I play for all the Indian tribe. They called me Bucket Man, second line, because when I first started, I had a bucket. A bucket and sticks. And I sounded so good, all the tribes wanted me to play for them. So I'm known for the Bucket Man, for the Indians, and during the school year, he worked, and I'd go in his class in the evening when I'm done what I'm doing, get off the bus and stuff, and we sit down and we roll a little bit. And he was trying to show me something how to do this, and I still ain't got it. Like, okay, and we did a bunch of, it's called, it's the cruise from Halloween. It's Voodoo Cruise. It's a Voodoo Cruise. They had 2 years, I think, in a row on the river. He invited me to come play with a bunch of other drummers, and it was real nice. It was real nice. And we go back some years. But he's still, man, I'm trying to still get that Indian beat. I'm still trying to get your beat. That's all. Like, you're gonna be missed, bro. You're gonna be missed. You know, and we all love you from Country Day, and man, it's gonna be missed because I still ain't got it yet, but I guess I'm gonna get it now.
Is there anybody here that can teach him that?
That's it.
There's somebody here got that.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, hi, my name's Dennis. I'm not a,
We can't hear you, baby.
I'm not a musician. I'm a poet. Michael never held that against me. The thing about Michael is, you know, you could not see him for 2 years and he'd still greet you as if he had just played music with you last night or something. He
Yep.
always made you feel welcome and appreciated and understood. He was one of the sweetest and friendliest people that I've met in the last, 3 years. I wish I had spent more time with him. But I'll tell you what, I wish I'd heard him play more. But, you know, the last time I heard him playing, and this, I had to say this is over a year ago because he gave a workshop with Tom McDermott at Tom's house. And we were talking about Roomba. And he gave such a beautiful explanation of the rhythm. Because I studied some percussion back in the 80s and I hadn't touched a drum in a long time, but how it fell right in with everything my teachers had told me then. And it all came back to me, you know, and what a beautiful thing it is. And I started writing a poem for him at that point, and now I think I have to finish it. I just want to thank everybody. Oh, I want to tell you one other thing that's really important to me. The thing about musicians is that you play together, right? You see each other all the time, you spend time together. Poets work alone. And it's kind of hard times to be by yourself all the time. Please appreciate the fact that you've got each other all the time. You see each other, you play together. Maybe you don't see each other again until that band gets together again. You get another gig or whatever. You don't have time. You got to go home. You got to go to the gig and all that kind of stuff. But you've got each other. So check in with each other, you know. Because sometimes we just don't, you know, like with Tim Green, you don't find out until they dead, until it's been days have gone by. Nobody knows. Somebody finds him in the doorway. You know, please check in with each other. You know, love each other up. Okay? Even if you don't really like each other too much. So you can play music together, you can do that, you know? Please, thank you.
I just want to say I met Michael. We were both so young, late 80s, 90s. We were both finding our ways. And those days at Cafe Brazil were like my church. It was like the best days of my life. And I'm looking around now and seeing Jill and Jonathan and Sam and John and Javier. And it's like we haven't seen each other in a long time, but that string's not broken. And I hadn't seen Michael in a long time, but I called him to drive my husband and I to the airport, and it was like we picked up where we left off. And I just want all of you to know how much you've meant to my life, and even if we don't see each other for 10, 20 years, I still love all of you.
Okay, my name is Javier Gutierrez. This is too intense for me. He played with me in mid-90s with my band Acoustic Swiftness. And I have wonderful players like Sam Price and different other musicians. And he was always wonderful. He was the best player. And then he was doing different projects. He was doing different type of more Cuban style music and stuff like that. But during all the time that we played together, we were always good friends. He was very nice and very friendly, and we used to have fun and laugh and play always in different type of events and everything. And then he started playing with other bands, and I started changing. And for some reason, in the mid-20s, there was like some kind of gathering for Acoustic Swiftness, and I say, well, my band is Vivaz now. It's called Vivaz. And I said, I'd like to find somebody from Acoustic Swiftness to play with me. And I called Michael. And Michael, okay, so we even got a picture. I found a picture that I will put it on my Facebook or Instagram. And it's Wayne Morris there in the picture. Tommy Seipel is myself and Michael. And it's go like, wow, this is special. I really was happy to find a picture of Michael. And anyway, he's with God now. So we always remember him with love.
I think everybody remembers Michael with love. And those were our church days at Cafe Brazil. And we were all the church members there. And I just want to say, fly high, Michael. Fly high.
Yes, fly high.